Welcome back to Future Proof, the podcast where we look beyond the hype to find real, durable opportunities. I'm your host, Avery. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a topic that I think is incredibly important but often gets ignored in the flashy world of startups and venture capital. We're talking about unsexy businesses, the hidden in plain sight opportunities that generate real value and real profit. And to help us pull back the curtain on these hidden gems, we have the brilliant business strategist and futurist, Alec, back in the studio. Alec, it is always a pleasure to have you here.
Avery, thanks for having me. I love this topic. It's where the real work gets done and the real fortunes are often made, far from the spotlight.
Exactly. Everyone wants to build the next social media giant or AI revolution, but I suspect there's more opportunity in, say, waste management than most people think.
You've hit on one of my favorite examples. When people hear waste management, they picture a garbage truck, but that's just the surface. The real opportunity is in specialized waste streams and the circular economy.
Okay, break that down for us. Specialized waste streams. What do you mean?
Think about everything that can't just go into a landfill or a standard recycling bin. Electronic waste is a huge one. It's full of valuable metals, gold, silver, copper, but it's also highly toxic. A business that specializes in safely dismantling e-waste and recovering those materials is sitting on a gold mine, literally. Right, a modern-day prospector. Precisely. Or consider construction and demolition debris. It's incredibly heavy and voluminous. A company that can set up mobile processing units to crush concrete and sort materials on-site, turning waste into aggregate for new projects, solves a massive logistical and cost problem for builders.
That's fascinating. But these feel like industries with huge established players. How does a smaller, more nimble company even begin to compete with the giants who own the landfills and the massive recycling facilities?
That's the key insight. You don't compete with them head-on. The giants are built for volume and standardization. They're battleships. A startup in this space needs to be a speedboat. You compete on specialization. The big players are inefficient at handling these smaller, more complex waste streams. They don't want to deal with the hassle of dismantling 1,000 laptops. They want to process 1,000,000 plastic bottles. The startup wins by focusing on being the absolute best in one specific niche: e-waste, textile recycling, hazardous medical waste, you name it. You build a defensible moat through expertise, not scale.
So you're essentially turning a cost center, disposal, into a revenue stream.
That's the essence of the circular economy. Another one is textile recycling. Fast fashion has created a mountain of used clothing. Most of it isn't suitable for resale, but the technology exists to break down these fabrics into fibers that can be spun into new yarn. The infrastructure to do that at scale is still in its infancy. That's a huge opportunity.
What are the barriers to entry there? It sounds capital-intensive and heavily regulated.
It can be, but you don't have to build a giant factory from day one. You can start with a niche within a niche. For example, a service that just collects used cooking oil from restaurants. That oil can be processed into biofuel. You're starting with the logistics, the collection network, which is less capital intensive. You build relationships, prove the model, and then you can vertically integrate into processing.
That's a great framework. Let's stick with this theme of boring but essential businesses. What's another sector like that?
Industrial and commercial maintenance. Specifically, services that are critical for operations but require specialized knowledge. Think about maintaining the HVAC systems for a massive commercial complex or a hospital. It's not glamorous, but it's a non-negotiable expense for the client.
Recurring revenue, the Holy Grail.
Exactly. These are long-term service contracts. Another example is cleaning specialized manufacturing equipment. Food processing plants, for instance, have incredibly strict hygiene standards. The machinery is complex. A company that trains a team to expertly clean and sanitize this equipment becomes an indispensable partner.
So the business model is built on these long-term service contracts. Is there a technological angle to this, or is it purely a skilled labor and logistics play?
The technology is the force multiplier. This is where it gets really exciting. The next generation of these companies isn't just about cleaning and repairing, it's about predictive maintenance. You install IoT sensors on critical equipment, pumps, motors, cooling units. These sensors monitor vibration, temperature, and energy consumption in real time. Your software uses AI to analyze this data and predict a failure before it happens. So you're no longer just a cleaning crew, you're a strategic partner that prevents downtime. You're not selling a service, you're selling uptime, which is infinitely more valuable.
The value proposition is clear. You prevent costly shutdowns and ensure regulatory compliance.
Yes, and the moat around these businesses is the skilled labor. It's not something you can just spin up overnight. It requires training, certification, and a reputation for reliability. The opportunity isn't just to provide the service, but to build the training and certification pipeline as well. You could become the go-to source for accredited technicians in your field.
So you're solving the industry skills gap while also building your own workforce. That's brilliant. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about what you call invisible problems. Problems that exist everywhere but aren't being addressed by the mainstream tech world.
Perfect example is last-mile logistics for everything that isn't a small parcel. We've optimized the hell out of delivering a book or a pair of sneakers. But what about delivering a couch or a custom-built piece of medical equipment or a temperature-sensitive wedding cake?
Yeah, the moment something is big, heavy, or fragile, the shipping cost explodes and the delivery experience plummets.
Right. The opportunity is to build a tech-enabled white-glove logistics platform focused on these niche markets, a platform that connects small businesses that sell these items with a network of specialized local and regional carriers who have the right equipment and training. How is that different from existing freight brokerages? The focus is on the end customer experience. It's not just about moving a pallet from A to B. It's about scheduling a precise delivery window, offering in-home setup, and handling items with extreme care. The technology would provide the seamless booking and tracking, but the service is the real differentiator. You're enabling a whole class of e-commerce businesses to compete with large retailers on delivery quality.
That's a huge pain point. Okay, what's another invisible problem?
Data modernization for legacy industries. I'm talking about small-town manufacturing plants, construction firms, family-owned farms, businesses that are the backbone of the economy but are still running on paper ledgers and decade-old Excel spreadsheets.
Right. The world of fancy SaaS products hasn't really reached them.
Or if it has, the products are too complex, too expensive, or just not a good fit for their specific workflow. The opportunity here isn't necessarily to build brand new software, it's to be a full-service modernization partner.
So more of a consultancy.
An implementation partner, really. You go in, you learn their business inside and out, you digitize their paper records, you select and configure simple, robust off-the-shelf software to manage their inventory, invoicing, and scheduling. And then, and this is the key, you provide ongoing training and support.
That makes sense, but what about the risks? You're taking a business that was entirely offline and putting its most sensitive data into the cloud. How do you overcome the fear and the very real threat of cybersecurity issues for these small businesses that don't have an IT department?
You don't overcome it. You embrace it as a core part of your value proposition. You become their trusted security partner. This isn't just about setting up QuickBooks. It's about implementing multi-factor authentication, managing secure backups, training their staff on how to spot phishing emails. You're not just a software consultant. You are their fractional, outsourced chief information security officer. The security and peace of mind you provide is just as important, if not more so, than the efficiency gains from the new software. You're selling them resilience in a digital world they're not equipped to navigate alone.
It sounds very hands-on. The challenge must be selling complex technology to business owners who are often skeptical of it.
That's why the relationship is so important. You're not selling software, you're selling a result. You don't lead with, let me tell you about this great cloud-based ERP. You lead with, I can save you 10 hours a week on payroll and paperwork, and I can show you exactly which of your services are most profitable. You build trust by solving a tangible pain point, not by evangelizing technology.
I love that. It's about translating tech into real-world value. All right, let's look to the future. What kind of opportunities are being created by the big shifts on the horizon? Let's call them future-proofing services.
A massive one is climate adaptation consulting, specifically for small and medium-sized businesses and local municipalities. We talk a lot about mitigation and sustainability, but adaptation is the reality we have to face now.
So this isn't about solar panels, it's about building walls?
Could be, but it's much broader. For a business, it's about risk assessment. Is your warehouse in a floodplain that's going to see more frequent storms? Are your key suppliers in a region prone to wildfires? A consulting service can help that business quantify the risk and then create a practical action plan. That might mean improving the building, finding alternate suppliers, or updating their insurance coverage.
And for a small town?
For a small town, it's about strategic planning, helping them assess the vulnerability of their infrastructure, their roads, their water treatment plant, and crucially, helping them navigate the complex process of applying for state and federal grants for resilience projects. Small towns don't have a full-time grant writer on staff. Being that expert guide is an incredibly valuable service.
That feels like a service with a real sense of purpose. You're helping communities protect themselves. Okay, let's do one more. A final future-proofing opportunity.
This one is more personal, but it's a problem every single one of us will face. Personal digital legacy management.
Wow, okay, tell me more.
What happens to your digital life after you die? Your photo library, your social media profiles, your emails, your documents in the cloud, maybe even your cryptocurrency wallets. Most people have no plan for this. Their families are left with a mess, unable to access precious memories or secure important assets. That's a profoundly modern problem. It is. The opportunity is a service that helps people organize their digital assets and create a clear, legally sound plan for what happens to them. It's a combination of estate planning, digital security, and personal archiving. You would help clients consolidate passwords, designate a digital executor, and specify their wishes, whether that's to memorialize a Facebook page, delete an email account, or pass on a Bitcoin wallet to an heir.
The level of trust required for that is immense. You're literally holding the keys to someone's entire life.
It is the ultimate high-trust business, and that's its strength. This isn't a market that can be won with slick marketing. It will be won by companies that operate with the same discretion and integrity as a law firm or a Swiss bank. It's a slow-growth, reputation-based business, but one that provides immense peace of mind, and I believe will become a standard part of end-of-life planning.
This has been absolutely fascinating, Alec. From specialized recycling and industrial cleaning to white-glove logistics, data modernization, climate adaptation, and digital legacy. The common thread I'm seeing is that all these opportunities are about solving messy, complicated, real-world problems.
That's exactly it. The biggest opportunities aren't about inventing a new desire. They're about identifying an existing friction or a deep-seated anxiety and providing a reliable, trustworthy solution. My advice to any aspiring entrepreneur is this: fall in love with the problem, especially a problem that bigger, slower, or more glamorous companies ignore. That's where you'll find your competitive edge.
Fall in love with a problem. I can't think of a better place to end. Alec, thank you once again for sharing your incredible insights with us.
It was my pleasure, Avery. A fantastic conversation.
That's our show for today. A huge thank you to our listeners for tuning into Future Proof. We hope we've given you a new lens through which to see the world of opportunity around you. Until next time, stay curious and look for the problems worth solving.